These are my lemon drizzle cookies. They're soft and chewy, made with brown butter, ground almonds and loads of lemon, and are topped with a classic lemon drizzle icing. These are easily one of the best cookies I've ever made, and if you like lemon, you're going to love them. They taste exactly like a lemon drizzle cake. Here's how we make them. To start, we're going to take 200 grams of unsalted butter. We're going to brown 120 grams of it and leave the other 80 grams to soften at room temperature. To brown the butter, we cook it over a medium heat, stirring regularly until the butter starts to foam. It smells nutty, and you can see that the milk solids in the bottom of the pan have turned golden brown. This will take around 5 minutes. Then once our brown butter is cooked, we're going to transfer it to a bowl and leave it to cool to room temperature. This will take around 30 minutes. Next, we're going to add 160 grams of light brown sugar and 125 grams of caster sugar into the bowl of a stand mixer, then grate in the zest of 2 lemons. To release the oils from the zest and to add more lemon flavour to the cookie dough, we're going to rub the zest into the sugar with our hands. Then we're going to add in both the brown butter and the softened butter. We're going to use the paddle attachment to beat the butters and sugars together until combined. This will only take 1 to 2 minutes on a medium speed. It's important that we don't overmix the butter and sugar at this point, as we don't want to add too much air into the cookie dough. Whilst the butter's mixing, we're going to add a large egg into a mixing bowl with 2 additional yolks. If you've got it, we're going to add a teaspoon of lemon extract into the eggs as well. Then we're going to lightly beat it all together. At this point, the butter and sugar will be ready and will look something like this. So then we're going to keep mixing on a medium speed, and then gradually add in the beaten egg. Then as soon as all the egg is added, we're going to stop mixing, give the bowl a quick scrape down, then mix briefly to combine properly. Then it's time to add in the dry ingredients. So we've got 250 grams of plain flour, 50 grams of ground almonds, 10 grams of cornflour, 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder, 3/4 of a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda, and half a teaspoon of table salt. Then we're going to pop the bowl back on the mixer and mix on a low speed until everything is just incorporated. To avoid getting any unmixed bits of flour in the dough, I'm going to give the bowl a quick scrape down, then mix again briefly. Now that the cookie dough is ready, we're going to chill it in the fridge for 30 minutes or so to let it firm up slightly. This just makes scooping and shaping it a bit easier. Then it's on to shaping. Here we're going to divide the dough into 12 equally sized portions. Each one should weigh around 70 grams. Now I like to use my hands for this, but you could use a cookie scoop or a spoon instead. Once we've weighed out 12 portions of cookie dough, we're going to roll each one into a ball. Then we're going to cover the dough up so it doesn't dry out, then chill in the fridge for at least 2 hours or up to 2 days. Just before we bake our cookies, we need to make the lemon icing, and and we also need to preheat an oven to 175 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So to make the lemon drizzle glaze, we're going to take 200 grams of icing sugar and whisk in enough lemon juice to make a smooth and thick icing that won't run off the cookies when we brush it on. You'll need around 3 tablespoons of juice from the lemons that we zested earlier. The icing will look something like this. Now to bake the cookies. So we're going to have to bake the cookies in batches of 3 or 4, depending how big your baking trays are. So we're going to place the balls of cookie dough onto a lined baking tray, giving them plenty of room, then bake in the preheated oven for 9 minutes. Then we're going to open up the oven door, lift the baking tray up inside the oven by a few inches, then let it drop down against the oven rack, using enough force so the cookies start to deflate. Then we're going to bake for another 2 minutes and repeat this process. Then we bake the cookies for a final 2 minutes, bringing the total cook time to 13 minutes. Then we're going to do what's known as the cookie scoot. This is where you take a large circular cookie cutter and use it to scoot the edges of the cookie into a perfect round shape. We do this when the cookies are fresh out of the oven when they're more pliable. Then we're going to let them cool for 3 to 4 minutes until they start to firm up slightly before brushing on the glaze. Glazing the cookies whilst they're still warm gives them this paper-thin, crunchy finish like you'd get on a lemon drizzle cake. But it's important to do this quite gently so we don't damage the cookies. Then it's just a case of repeating the cooking and glazing process with the remaining cookie dough, then letting them cool completely before serving. And that's how you make a batch of my lemon drizzle cookies. These will keep for a good 3 days when stored in an airtight container. Not that they'll last that long. The full recipe for these cookies, and many more, can be found on my blog, saltbuttersmoke.com. And if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week for another recipe.